Solidity in Cézanne is the result of a patchwork of painterly equivalents for Cézanne's sensations. The richness is that each unit is abstract. That means being real is connected to being abstract. This sounds confusing because we're used to thinking of reality as something out there that's opposed to ideas. In fact, reality is an idea. We don't know what's out there. We're always coming up with different ideas for it.
Cézanne is building scenes based on feeling, observation, and the material stuff that he's working with, the canvas, the paint. How can he get all this to be powerful, to hold together? That's why there's transparency in Cézanne as well as solidity. His still lives are so obviously artificially posed, so concocted. He doesn't hide how they're constructed, he lets the seams show. Jars and fruits and tables and tablecloths are tipped up or angled in an unreal way. He actually balanced the objects on upturned coins or used artificial fruit instead of real ones. The scale of things is unreal. A pear is impossibly huge or impossibly small.
This is the idea now, that in the effort to be real, art will always be an invention, constructed, new from nothing.
Cézanne did about 200 paintings of bathers. They range from small like this to very large.
In art now, we've got used to mysteries being explained by a lot of mysterious chat, so they're not really explained at all. And we forget why we were interested in the first place. So we're used to not seriously questioning art anymore. It seems almost embarrassing to have to ask, just why are there distortions in Cézanne?
The answer is that the contours of objects are pressurized by a sense of pattern or design that builds up as Cézanne is working.
They're not distorted because Cézanne is mad, which he wasn't, or because he's obsessive or anxious, which he certainly was, but because of the demands of the painting. He sees that it gets better as a painting if the contours keep getting reworked, as he keeps refinding the rhythm of the painting, refinding the structure and the order.
This makes sense as patches. They have a pictorial logic and beauty. It's an abstract logic. The figures become so distorted they're like trolls. The feeling is that the painting's real beauty is abstract, like a parallel world. Cézanne's models for the bathers' paintings are early drawings he'd done as an art student, or else photos he'd acquired, or drawings of old masters in the Louvre that he saw on his regular trips back to Paris.
They were entirely products of his imagination. He never did them from real people. He'd stand for hours at the Louvre with Michelangelo's slaves, drawing them, and then he'd go back to the studio and process the results into his bathers' paintings. Or he'd go upstairs and draw a nude by Rubens. Anything voluptuous, as long as it wasn't actually breathing. Why not have the lovely live models in the studio? After all, he could afford it. He said to Renoir, "Women models frighten me. The sluts. They're always watching you, trying to catch you off your guard."
The end of the 19th century. Manet and Courbet are long dead, Monet's a millionaire, Cézanne has to sell the Jas de Buffon for legal reasons. He buys land just outside Aix and has a studio built on it. He paints there, but lives in a little flat in town.
Every day, more or less, for the last 4 years of his life, Cézanne left his flat in Aix and came to the studio at the top of these stairs. He then worked for the rest of the day, either in the studio or in the countryside surrounding it. The first session of the day's work began at 6 in the morning and went through without a break until 10:30. He has lunch at 11, works through for the rest of the day, and then walks back to town, has dinner, and sleeps in his flat in the Rue Boulegon. He never dated his paintings or titled them, or in most cases signed them. He just worked on them and left them lying around in fields and came back later for them if he remembered. One day he's out painting a few hundred yards from the studio and he gets caught in a storm. He already has bronchitis, diabetes, he's weak, he's old beyond his 66 years. He continues to work and then, soaked to the skin, he collapses. He's found there a few hours later by some men who return him on the back of a laundry cart to his flat in Aix. He's got pneumonia. He's bedridden for 10 days. There's only him and the housekeeper in the place, and the doctor. Hortense and Paul are in Paris. The housekeeper sends them a telegram, but they arrive too late, and Cézanne dies alone upstairs in this house, 7 in the morning on the 23rd of October, 1906. What we're offered with Cézanne is anxious restlessness, forever trying to achieve an aim, as opposed to with Monet a confident celebration of something fantastic, or with Manet a suave, intelligent picture of modern life, or Courbet a solid picture of ordinary life. I cannot attain the intensity that unfolds before me, Cézanne wrote. All the ideas of the other artists flow into what Cézanne does, but it's Cézanne's difficulty that sticks for modern art. It becomes the fuel for all modern art's future developments.
So the 2 hours are nearly over. The Impressionists were all dead before Impressionism became truly popular. Now it's so loved, it seems too easy. Habit, familiarity, being saturated with Impressionism, these all make us not really see Impressionism. Then when it's woken up for us, its intensity is a challenge. Successful, trendy art today refers to the aggressive relationship to the audience that art, in following Impressionism's lead, always had. It does that referring even though the art world now is no longer thought of as a place of genuine rebellion. We have sanctified rebellion instead.
What you gain from today's type of avant-gardism, a type of art that says you don't have to have anything visually sophisticated, you don't have to be an aesthete to get it, you don't have to cock your head on one side and squint and marvel at a bit of green next to a bit of blue. What you gain is pop glamour.
The popular avant-gardist circus of now is a magic act, even more so when you have the illusion that you could do it yourself, whether it's pop death or pop politics. It's about creativity and invention in a kind of jokey, sloganizing relationship to what the genuine avant-garde of the past has left us. What you lose is the richness that makes Impressionism's niceness not superficial and therefore something that can easily be dispensed with, but profound.
So that's the challenge of this art of the nice. The amusing, institutionalized insincerity of today's art versus Impressionism's blazing candor. Making a structure and analyzing the making of a structure. Waking you up to pleasure, how it works, to the meaning of pleasure. I think that's everything that art can do. Good night.